Earlier, I spoke to stranded Australian Sunny Joura in New Delhi, who's one of the lucky ones on the first flight out.
I'd like to share a good news that I am on the first flight that has been scheduled for tonight, and we'll be landing in Darwin tomorrow, provided I get my RT-PCR and rapid antigen test negative. So we've done the RT-PCR, just waiting for the rapid antigen test as well. So I am feeling extremely lucky and grateful that I've been allocated a seat along with my mother on this flight. So hopefully everything goes smoothly and we can be in Australia tomorrow morning.
Very good news. I'm happy to hear it. What has the last few weeks been like for you, and how have you been able to cope with this experience?
There's been lots of anxiety. I mean, there's constant fear as well, because the area that I was in, all of our neighbourhood was suffering from COVID real bad. We had about 70% of the households infected with COVID. Just day before yesterday, there was a death as well. People were dying there because of lack of oxygen and lack of proper healthcare. So things are real bad. I mean, it's a desperate situation, really.
Are you still concerned about the coronavirus threat and contracting it?
Well, I still am, because it's in the air and viral load is pretty high. So I'm concerned for my mother as well, myself. So hopefully we can get back to Australia soon, safe.
I'm glad to hear that you are going to come back to Australia tomorrow. Do you have any mixed feelings about coming home after being stranded in India for so long?
Well, there are, because I'm happy for myself, but there are so many fellow stranded Australians that will be left behind. I mean, the plan for now is to evacuate about 900 vulnerable Australians, but in my view, all 9,500 Australians that are stranded in India right now are vulnerable because there is no healthcare available, and if you get infected with COVID, I mean, chances of survival are rare, because I've seen young people dying within 24 hours of going to the hospital because of all sorts of things. People are dying at home as well, so it's a scary situation. So definition of vulnerable definitely needs to be looked at for India right now.
Are you speaking to other Australians who are in India? Do they feel the same way?
Yes, we are connected through a Facebook group called Australians Stuck in India, as well as Australian stuck around the world. And people are really anxious, I mean, as to what is going to happen with them. So I would just hope that Australian government would come up with an aggressive plan to get everyone out of here soon.
Are you getting any support from the Australian government? I know you're going home tomorrow, but have you received any other forms of support?
No, we haven't had any other form of support. We had to pay for our tickets, which is fine. So I'm just lucky that we're getting this flight. So I'm just grateful that they have acted and resumed the Qantas repatriation flights. In my view, time is of essence. They need to get everyone out of here.
What's your feeling towards the Australian government now? Have you forgiven them for what they've done?
Look, it's never too late. I mean, in my case, I can understand where they're coming from as well in terms of the fear that has driven this decision mainly. But then there has been some lost opportunity as well, because when things were good in India, government didn't send enough flights. I know there were promises made that everyone will be back by Christmas, but then if you look at the facts, between June to December 2020, I think not more than 5 Qantas repatriation flights were brought into Australia, were sent to India to bring the stranded Australians back. So that's about 750 people out of the 10,000 that are stranded here. So I think even if they are making this their priority, that's good news. So I'm just happy and thankful that my mother and I will be able to board this flight. Fingers crossed we get our results negative today. So yeah, I mean, government needs to do more, and I think they are starting to think in the right direction now. So let's hope for the best.
Your family and friends back in Australia must be relieved to hear that you're coming back.
Yes, they are. They are. My wife and children, they are back in Melbourne, and they're quite happy to have me back. And the other extended family as well. My brothers, they're looking forward to have us all back. We are relieved.
Well, that is good news. Sunny, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.